Hi, I'm Cody from Wall Street Breakdown. It's Wednesday, September 13th, 2017. There you have it. That's the date of today. Let's take a look at what happened in the market, because while it's nighttime, you know what they say, nighttime is the right time for a market recap. So let's take a look. In the Dow, we were up 39, the S&P up very nominally, up 1 and a little bit, and the TSX down, giving back 16 from the gain of well over 100 yesterday, so that's definitely not the worst thing we've ever seen. We'd like to see the TSX continue to climb higher, so a little down day at 16, not the worst news considering yesterday was a win for everybody in the TSX, that's for sure. So some of the big companies that are up, Sentient Corp up 8%. They are a major intermediary for government and private healthcare plans. They are huge. They employ a ton of people, trading at $98.07 a share right now, which is the very top end this year. We're talking 52-week high right in that range. They were up 8% today, though. I mean, it's a big gain. They are in the process of purchasing for $3.75 billion Fidelis, the New York State Medicare leader. So that's a feather in the cap if they can get this deal closed, that's for sure for Centene. Nordstrom up 6%. We've been having retailers constantly. It's been retailers. We've seen the Gap. We've seen Kohl's. I mean, L Brands was here yesterday. We've said Nordstrom's, even though they had a bit of a rollout of a new store plan that they're going to be trying on Monday, and it wasn't really well received. But Nordstrom's is a fairly high-end retailer, and there's been rumors of them potentially going private. Now, they said they were actually seeking out the potential to go private, come right off the exchange entirely, back in June, I believe it was. But now the talk of the actual Nordstrom family selling to private equity firm Leonard Green has been put out there in pretty big. I mean, that's the news. That is the news. And it's been driving retail, period. A lot of this retail hustle and bustle usually seems to drive retail down at the brick and mortar level. And we're seeing a lot of retail at the brick and mortar level being picked up. I mean, it's increasing. I mean, and that's going to be directly attributed to the Dow and the S&P being up. I mean, it's day over day. We're in the black ink. We know what the black is because we tried the green and it wasn't working. So we went to the black, and the black looks good because you want to be in the black, right? You don't want to be in the red. Why would we use green? Green's the color of American money. The black around the world is what people would consider being in the right financial state. Being in the black is definitely what's happening with Nordstrom. But like we were saying, the S&P, we might as well reference this right now, the S&P has been on a roll. I'm talking, they're rolling. They only have 1 month this year where the S&P is down. That doesn't happen very often, but we're in an up market. So you might as well just let it ride. I mean, don't go out there and do anything foolishly. I'm not advising you to do anything too off the cuff. I want you to do your work properly. I mean, I think I advise that every video, but if you're already in the market and things are going well, take a little of your money off the table, but honestly, live a little bit. This is one of those markets that people hope to be involved in. You want to get involved in this. It's taking place in front of your eyes. I mean, why not? The S&P is doing just fantastic. I mean, you see this constantly, and all the 500 participants are doing ridiculously well. Chesapeake Energy up 5.3% today. They had some government crude production data that ended up helping crude production entirely. Crude was up for the third day in a row, and Chesapeake ended up getting a bit of a bump for it. I mean, they're trading only $3.94 a share, which is actually the really low end of their 52-week high. Despite the 5.3% jump, they were bottomed out entirely. And this was actually the second most traded stock today on the New York Stock Exchange. So something, again, if you're thinking about doing anything, I suggest you do your due diligence, your homework. Speak to a licensed professional financial advisor. Speak to 10 of them. Go take up their time. Get a bunch of people around and make sure you feel comfortable with whoever you're dealing with. But just when you're talking about something like that, Chesapeake, they do oil and gas exploration and production. It's picking up slowly. We've seen rig counts week over week over week picking up and stabilizing. I mean, it's dropping off a little bit, but we had, 24-week run where things were going through the late spring, early summer. through the summer entirely almost. So, I mean, you get a company like that trading at the bottom end of their 52-week low, doing something that the industry as a whole seems to be benefiting. Have a conversation with your advisor. I mean, that's what I would recommend. Have a conversation with your advisor. What's it going to hurt? Do a little bit of background research. Don't do any speculating. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be overly zealous about getting into anything under $5, $6, $7 a share. Chesapeake does have a track record of trading a lot higher than $3.94. Again, due diligence is definitely what's on hand here in the low end. Equifax, is this 3 days in a row? Equifax has dominated this low end at 14.6% down. Equifax is getting destroyed. I mean, honestly, when you lose 143 million people's data, or potentially at least, you feel the breadth of the wrath. I've got a sneezing cat in the corner of my room. Please forgive any sneezing you might hear. This cat has been apparently, the cat was long Equifax, and it wasn't going well for the cat, and he's having some sort of a antihistamine issue over there. Histamine issue, something with the cat. Like we said, in the TSX was down. It was very nominal, but Roots actually said, they've been around for a long time, 1973. Roots said they were actually going to apply for an IPO. They've got a lot of plans of store restructuring. They've also got a lot of plans of potential expansion down into the Atlantic seaboard there, Philadelphia, New York, all through there. We'll see how it plans out. I mean, it doesn't really affect your portfolio today. I think Roots would really have to find themselves being not such an... Anybody internationally that knows Roots knows them as a Canadian brand. I'm not sure if that's something that really resonates with other countries, with people from other countries. Do they want to wear something that's really representative of Canada and not representative of just good fashion? So I would think Roots would probably need to find themselves an identity that's much stronger for people around the globe to kind of hitch their wagon to, as opposed to what I think it is now, which is, it's a great brand of clothing, but even I wouldn't wear it, and I'm Canadian. I mean, it's not my type of fashion, but I don't find it fashionable. So that would, I think, be the first thing they would have to change, is the actual fashionable part, rather than opening or renovating new stores or filing for an IPO. I don't think any of that is really going to circumvent things that just don't look as nice as other things. In the news, we've got Bitcoin down to $4,000. $4,000. They were at 5 at the beginning of the month. 20% drop. Jamie Dimon said he would fire anybody in his firm caught trading in Bitcoin. It is what it is. It's in the news. It's in the news, so we cover it. I don't really know what to tell you other than it's in the news. It's down 20% in a week and a half. It's not great. Tesla is rolling out a semi-truck on October 26th. I seen the tweet from Elon Musk. He said it's unreal. He said you have to be there. You have to come and see what's going on with the semi-truck. This is going to be unreal. Tesla knows, they know their customers. They've been doing a heck of a job knocking it out of the park with the cars so far. Production is still not where they want it to be. Definitely a lot of stuff on back order. And you can believe that if this semi-truck is anything that Elon Musk is talking about, if it's knocking stuff out of the park, then I mean, it's going to get sold, but it's going to be on back order. I mean, I know they're ramping up production slowly in every different department that Tesla runs, but it's slowly, right? Like, there's a lot of people waiting on product from Tesla. This is another great unveiling. Shows their research and development department's doing really well. That they know what they're doing, but it's the being able to deliver it to a customer, especially expediently, where people want to pay now. Get the money off the table. So still, tax reform. Donald Trump says that the Republican tax reform is not going to undertax the wealthy. If anything, it may overtax them, he said. I don't know. I mean, the wealthy get taxed enough, do they not? The loopholes and stuff aside, when you're in a 40% tax bracket, if you're paying anywhere near 30, 40%, despite whatever your write-offs happen to be, but you're someone who makes millions of dollars a year, let's hope tens of millions, who knows what it is. You're probably an employer of a lot of people. You create jobs. You don't want to snuff these people out. I understand that We want to get we feel like we need to get our comeuppance on people with money. This isn't the way. Just tax people basically to the point where they feel like their government is, they're working for your country as well. These people that make a lot of money employ a lot of people. They should pay taxes. They definitely shouldn't have loopholes to get them down to the numbers we heard Mitt Romney talk about when he was running for president and stuff. That obviously is not something we want. But we want them paying a good amount, something we feel sufficient with, but we also want to understand that people that make that kind of money, they are the employers. They're the people creating jobs, and job creation and job stability is very important in a strong economy. Again, we talked about the S&P on a roll. Things are up, down 1 month. We're up in the Dow, up in the S&P, the TSX down nominally. What can I tell you? For a day that didn't have a whole lot of news, that actually turned into be quite a bit of news. I'm Cody with Wall Street Breakdown. That's your market recap for the 13th of September, 2017. Have yourself a good night.